Hello everyone, my name is Nathan Poinsette.
And my name is Brittany Marroquin.
And welcome to the season finale of the BullCast. In this episode, we're going to have a sports segment. There's going to be a segment where we're going to be interviewing BullCast crew members, and we have a very special guest.
Elliott Wiser, the founder of Bay News 9.
So it's going to be an awesome episode, so sit back and enjoy.
Welcome back to BullCast. I am your host, Vanessa, and we have a very exciting segment here today. I'm sitting down with Professor Wiser, and we're going to be talking about some post-grad, senior stuff, and a little bit of journalism. Professor Wiser, thank you for coming on.
It's great to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
I'm very excited to have you. Tell us a little bit about yourself for the audience that doesn't know you.
Well, I spent 38 years in the media business as a reporter, as an anchor, then news director, general manager, corporate vice president, and I guess I'm best known as the person that created Bay News 9 over 26 years ago, and then Bright House Sports Network. And I've been teaching here at USF since 2008.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about college students, and let's talk about specifically post-grad. What is some experience that you think post-grad students should have?
Well, when you graduate, I think if you know what you want to do, you have to go find that job. I think the difficulty some students have is when they don't know what they want to do. And my advice is try different things. But before you graduate, you want to eliminate what you don't want to do and give it some thought. I think the biggest mistake some students make is they don't think about it until they graduate in May or December, and that's too late.
Absolutely. I 100% would agree with you. And what are some key skills that you think employers look for?
You have to be able to communicate both verbally and in written form, I think is very important. But the most important thing that employers want to see is experience. Yes. And that is so important. And it's the type of experience that really counts as well.
So when we talk experience, I'm going to believe that you might be referring to a resume that goes into an employer.
Yes, and if you're a student and you don't have a resume, you're making a mistake. And I teach a class called Senior Seminar, and we talk about how to create a resume. And I would say that close to 80% of the resumes I see in class are not good enough to get a job. And that's something that students need to have the best resume, because you won't get past step one without a great resume.
So what are some tips then for that resume and even the cover letter? How about that?
Well, let's start with the resume. I think the most important thing is the quality of experience you have on the resume. A lot of students have some great experience, whether they're doing podcasts, writing for the student newspaper, but it's that experience outside of school that really counts. It's great to be able to write for the newspaper and do a podcast, but for instance, if you're a journalism major and you don't have an internship, outside internship in journalism, you're at a loss, because there are large journalism schools that run actual TV stations, so you're up against those folks, or running newspapers. So getting that practical experience is absolutely essential. So having that on your resume, being able to mention that in your cover letter, is so important.
Humor me for a second. What is the funniest thing that you've seen on a cover letter or resume?
The funniest thing, well, it's actually, I don't know if it was funny, but it was when I got a resume and cover letter one time at Bay News 9, it was delivered in a box with old, smelly sneakers. And the person wrote in their cover letter, "I'll go the extra mile for you."
No.
And so I thought it was creative and innovative. The only thing I didn't appreciate, the sneakers really smelled.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, get the sneakers out, bring the person in. So that's probably the funniest thing I've seen.
That's crazy. They
Yes.
really wanted you to remember them. That's what it sounds like.
Now, the funniest thing I ever had in an interview, I had someone come in and they were interviewing, and again, it was at Bay News 9. I forget what the position was for, and in the middle of the interview, they called me dude. And I ended the interview right there, and needless to say, that person did not get the job.
I would hope not.
Yeah, because the only person that could be the dude is the Big Lebowski. Otherwise, you're not the dude.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, when you talk about the interview, what about the job process? What's the job process like? In the real world, I should say.
Yeah, in the real world.
In the real world.
So the most important thing in the job process is being able to do the research and spending a lot of time doing research, because when you do the cover letter, if you ever get to the interview, when you do your objective on the resume, you have to research that company. You have to, and the most important place to research is the job description. There are keywords in that job description that should be in your objective, should be in your cover letter. You should be able to use during the interview. So when you walk into that interview, and by the way, when you go and interview, chances are you're going to get the job. It's yours to lose. And if you don't demonstrate in that interview you've done research on the person or people interviewing you or the company, you could lose that job.
Why do you think that students don't do that research or have that experience?
I don't think anyone told them. And I think that's the great thing about our department and coming up with the senior seminar class, which used to be something different. And when I took it over, I made it all about job search. And I think that's the biggest aha. If you talk to any of the students that have taken senior seminar, that's the biggest ahas. I've got to research it, and it's made a difference. We've had tremendous success with students graduating from that class, getting jobs, getting internships, and I get these great emails say, Professor Wiser, you were right, which is great for a professor to hear, that they're actually right. It's because of that research makes a difference.
Speaking of our department, which our department is Digital Communications and Multimedia Journalism, for anybody who doesn't know, what is some advice that you would give to an aspiring journalist?
That is a great question. I think the most important thing is to learn how to write, because that is the one thing that when I was in the business, I would see a deficiency in. And even with social media today, if you want to be a social media marketing person, you have to be able to write. And that writing skill is so important. And the best advice I can give to someone who wants to learn how to write is this. The day you think you're a great writer, you're bad. It's the great writers who think they always need to work on the writing. So you never stop working on your writing. To this day, when I write an article or something, I'm working on my writing constantly. So always work on your writing. Don't ever stop.
And, you know, speaking of the writing, what would you give advice to somebody going into broadcast? Would it be keep that writing up, or would it be something else?
No, absolutely. But I think also to have the fortitude, because going into broadcast, it's very competitive. You have to have a thick skin, especially if you want to be on air. It's not as competitive as it used to be, because not everyone wants to go into broadcast journalism anymore. But you have to have the fortitude, and you have to realize that the pay's not going to be great. The hours aren't going to be great when you start. It looks great on the outside, but once you get in, it's a tough place and a tough industry to work in.
For somebody going into broadcast, where do you think that they should start to look for those jobs?
That's a great question. If you don't want to be on the air, you can find a job, for instance, in the Tampa St. Pete market off air. And one area where there are a lot of jobs available, associate producer, which is a writing position. Web positions are available. If you want to be on air, it's almost impossible to start in Tampa Bay, St. Pete. You have to go to a small market. So you have to go to the Gainesvilles of the world, the Tallahassees, maybe even the Fort Myers. You have to start small and work your way up. You're not going to graduate USF and go on the air in Tampa Bay.
So let's talk about your broadcast journey for a little bit.
Okay.
Tell us about your broadcast journey, just a little bit, and what was the most challenging part of your broadcast journey?
Well, I really think the challenging one was creating Bay News 9. I was brought here from Seattle, where I was running a 24-hour news channel, and basically I walked into an office about the size of the studio, and they said, just go do Bay News 9. So it was like, and this market had never seen anything like that. So when we launched Bay News 9 in September of '97, everyone doubted us. You can read the newspaper articles. There were people saying, you're not going to succeed. Why do we need a 24-hour news channel? And it was a lot of pressure. We were using a new technology that hadn't been used before. We were doing something that had never been seen before. And it was scary. And we were all in it together. And it took a little while. It took a couple of years. But I think the thing that really made it happen was '04, when we had the 4 hurricanes. That really put us on the map. And we had a seminal moment where we were the #1 station in this market. Even though we were only seen at that time in 60% of the market, we were #1 in the ratings during the hurricanes. And that's what really put Bay News 9 on the map.
Would you say that's your biggest accomplishment?
No, I think my biggest accomplishment is my daughter. So I'm sorry, I'm a proud dad, but I would say Bay News 9 is my second child, and I was very proud of the way it grew up.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
It was an honor having you, and I've had a great time having you
Thank
here
you.
talking.
Thank you for having me here.
Thank you so much for coming on.
No problem.
And we're going to bring it on to the next segment. Welcome to our new sports segment here on BullCast Bulls Roundup. I'm your host, Vanessa.
And I'm your host, Brandi. And today we are going to be talking about our experience so far with the sports journalism industry, as well as talking about our goals and aspirations for after we graduate college.
So speaking of our field and our goals in the sports journalism industry, Brandi, what made you get into the sports journalism industry?
So I would say it's because my family has grown up working in sports. I've always had a natural liking for sports. I've been to Bucks games, Rays games, Lightning games, all, you can name it, I've probably been to it. So I just have had a natural liking for it. So I felt like that was probably the best decision for me, just to go that route, just because family of mine have had experience with it, have been able to teach me about things. So a natural liking, I would say. And so far what I've learned is that it's been super fun. I love the adrenaline rush, and I think I could see myself being in that field for a good time, good amount of time, so yeah.
And what would you say that your dream career is in sports?
So currently I am balancing between two things. I would love to be a sports reporter. My experience so far with writing for the Crow's Nest here at USFSP has been great. I've been exposed to new opportunities and new experiences, and I could see myself being in that field, but I could also see myself being in the field of being a part of the media production teams for these Tampa Bay sports teams. I had the opportunity to be with the Lightning behind a game and do the game presentation for them, and that was absolutely so much fun. The adrenaline rush was great, and I could also see myself being in that field as well. So I'm balancing between the two, but hopefully one will work out for me in the end. So yeah.
That's amazing.
Yes, so Vanessa, I wanted to go ahead and ask you, what made you want to work in the sports journalism industry?
So I actually grew up as a football cheerleader, and I was always on the field every Friday night lights, as we could say. So I'm just so used to, being around the game of football, sports, and being a Tampa Bay native. Growing up in Tampa Bay, we go to Tampa Bay Rays games, we go to Bucks games, Lightning games. So kind of similar to you, I always feel like I was around sports, drawn to sports, very interested in it. Of course, it's something that plays in all of our homes all the time, but the adrenaline rush from sports is absolutely amazing. I've gotten to photograph for our football team a little bit for our media. I've photographed our USF baseball lately, and that's been super fun. So anyway, just, being back in the industry under those lights seems to be what I'm drawn to.
Absolutely. So tying into your photography, and I know that you are a certified photographer, how has your knowledge about that helped you with your sports reporting and taking pictures for sports?
Okay, so I am a certified professional photographer that I got at another university, and that's helped because, before going into schooling, I was teaching myself how to photograph everything. So when you go into sports, it's a completely different ball game. Everyone's moving, the ball is moving, something is moving, someone's flipping or jumping. You have to be able to learn how to control your shutter speed and your exposure, especially in your ISO, all of these big words that not everyone knows, but you have to be able to control your settings all at the same time. And before going to school, there's no way I could have known to set my shutter at like 1,000 per second, to catch that football in action or catch somebody catching a ball. So that's definitely, I would say, how it's helped me. And then, going to school back in our digital communications major, I wouldn't be able to report on sports without it. I barely knew how to report before our major. So.
Yeah, same here. Let me ask you this. What has been your favorite sport to photograph?
Ooh, honestly, I would say football, but I've been shooting baseball lately, and I've been loving shooting baseball. So right now, baseball's taking the cake. I'm sorry, football. I'm so sorry. What has been your favorite sport to cover?
I feel like I am going to have to agree with you with football, just because, one, that's what I've had the most exposure to, but also I always have a natural liking for football, and so far that's been great. But I am, again, just like you, loving the baseball aspect. I've always been a fan of baseball, so I'm going to have to go. But in the end, I'm going to have to go with football, just because you can't go wrong with football.
No, you can't go wrong with football, especially in Tampa Bay.
Oh, absolutely.
Come on. There's nothing better than a good Bucks game.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Definitely right. And hopefully we can see some good things from Coach Golish this season.
Oh my gosh, as on the topic, as you bring up, we have something really exciting from Coach Golish going on right now.
Which is?
Actually our head coach, Alex Golish, just got named top 15 under 40 according to CBS Sports.
That is very impressive for him.
That's amazing. It's a great accomplishment, especially coming right off of Tennessee, right onto USF. He's doing amazing things already. You know, after covering that spring game, our boys were killing it. They came out, our defense killed it. You know, everything is going really well, and the boys seem to be having a lot of fun in the field. For sure.
Nice.
Coach Golish has brought an amazing culture to the field and to the team. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, I would agree, and it's definitely going to be interesting to see what he brings to the stadium next season, and hopefully we have some good vibes and a better record maybe. Hopefully, cross our fingers, but we're very excited for that. But back to you, Vanessa, if you had to say what your dream would be after graduating college and what you would want to pursue for sports, what would you say?
I want to be an NFL photographer. I feel like that's a given. You know, loving being on the football field and photographing. I look up to Tori Richmond, who's actually the photographer for the Tampa Bay Bucks. And I don't know, something about that adrenaline rush, being an NFL photographer would be my dream goal. What is your dream goal and, you know, the sports industry and job?
Back to what I was saying earlier, I would love to be a part of the media production teams for game day presentation, whether that's in the control room or being an in-game host. I feel like I could fit both of those, or being a sports reporter in the end, just because I have found a very fun liking to it, and I just hope that something within sports works out in the end for me. That's just the goal.
I think it will work out just fine. Working beside you on game days, you'll be just fine.
Thank you, I appreciate it. All right.
Speaking on game days, let's not forget things that are going on around the Bay and within USF. So, Brandi, what's going on in USF for sports this week?
Yes, so I do want to make note that the baseball team will be having a game tomorrow, April 25th. They will be playing Florida Gulf Coast at 3 p.m. They will also have another game against Cincinnati on the 28th at 6:30 p.m. And then our softball team will be playing Memphis on the 28th at 4 p.m. as well.
Perfect. And then in the Tampa Bay area, of course, we have exciting things going on a lot. Our Lightning are in the playoffs, playing tonight at Amalie at 7:30 p.m. and possibly on Saturday if it's needed. And then we also have our Rays, who are undefeated at home right now, playing the Astros at 6:40 today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. So I hope you guys look out for that, as I know I'll be watching the Rays game and the Lightning game. I don't know about you.
Oh, I definitely will be. And if you are a USF student, which most of us are, you can go ahead and get some discounted tickets for college students. All you just need to do is add your USF email to it, and you can get a discounted ticket to attend those games.
That's perfect. And we hope to see you in the stands.
Yes. So that is the end for our Bulls Roundup. Thank you for tuning in, and make sure you tune in next season for Season 3 of BullCast, where we'll be talking a lot more about sports. But as always, go Bulls!
Thank you, Brandi and Vanessa, for that awesome sports segment. Now, I have one of our senior crew members and our host, Audrey Ward.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us today. Hello.
Of course.
How are you doing
Thank
today?
You. I'm doing pretty good so far, hanging in here.
So far, so good?
Yeah, so far, so good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Thank you for asking. Okay, so we're going to dive straight into it.
All right.
So for those of our viewers out there who don't know about any of your past involvements, like on campus besides BullCast, what have you done since you've been here at USF St. Petersburg?
Yeah, so since I've been here at USF, I first started as a peer coach with Compass. I transferred into this campus, so I wanted to be able to give back to the campus for those who were also a transfer student coming from a different institution, already had been at a campus, and give them what my experience was like coming into USF. And so I was working with about 50 students. A lot of them were commuters to the campus. They weren't living on campus. And having that experience as a peer coach was a great role model to these students that were just coming into our institution, learning what USF has available for resources. And that was a great lead-in for my semester as my first senior semester, and now I've also been doing an internship this semester with the Marketing and Communications Department.
Okay.
So that was addition to BullCast this semester, and it gave me a great experience making content for the University of South Florida, St. Petersburg campus, actually.
Nice. I'm a transfer student as well, so thank you for helping out transfer students, because it was not easy at all.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay, so what made you pick the St. Petersburg campus?
So what happened was the major is only offered at this campus.
Okay.
So I didn't realize that the digital communications was at this campus. And like I said, I was a transfer student. So I came in only looking at online what USF had for the digital communications. And when I saw that the program that is offered is at St. Petersburg, I was like, oh, this is a new experience for me. I'm going to be a brand new city, even though I was born 15, 20 minutes away over in Clearwater. I never really came over to St. Pete, so fell in love with the city pretty quickly, fell in love with the campus. As a resident student as well, definitely it grew on me pretty quickly, the surroundings of the city and of the campus. So I think it was just meant to be coming on to St. Pete for something new.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So since graduation is coming up, what are your plans after that?
Yeah, so my plans for graduation right now is commencement on the 6th. Afterwards, going to be spending some time with my family, which I'm really excited for that. And then just crack down on interviewing, hopefully getting interviews accepted, sending my resumes out, hoping that that can lead me to an opportunity with PR, with marketing, social media, anything related to just get me into the door for broadcasting at the end, since I love being on TV.
Awesome. Did you have a specific company in mind? Or no, not really? It's just more so if somebody offers you something, you're just going to go with it? Or did you have like a preference or anything?
For right now, that's what my goal is, definitely to have, just if anyone gives me an opportunity, I will definitely take it. But my dream job, I would say, is to be with WFLA, which is our local news affiliate of NBC here in Tampa Bay area. And I would love to be any part involved with them on their studio.
Awesome. Best of luck to you on that.
Thank you.
So what was your most memorable experience during your time here, either at USF or before you transferred, just during your college experience as a whole?
Yeah, so I would say my favorite experience definitely was being able to, I think, just learn more about myself. I started, like I said, I was a transfer student, so I did a study abroad during the pandemic, so I got caught in the years as a student, South America in Chile. I was there for a little over a year, and I think that definitely gave me an opportunity to learn more of what I want to do with my career. And when I came back to the US, that was really when I made the change of the universities, and I found, I would say, my niche of journalism, and that I love just writing. I love doing social media, being able to help out with a newsroom atmosphere is what I noticed that I liked. Okay. And I think having that home here at this campus gave me the opportunity to kind of branch out, learn more about myself, and I definitely have learned a lot with our fantastic professors. I love each and every one of them so much, and I really thank them for the opportunities that they've given me with research and going out to do interviews that I would have never thought of doing, of like talking to them as a source for a story. I think that that's been a great highlight of the program at this campus.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Audrey. It was definitely a pleasure to work with you and to have you as a classmate, and I'll definitely miss you when you're gone, okay?
Thank you. And yeah, I'll miss the BullCast a lot. I'm gonna miss it.
Well, thank you everyone for chiming in, and we'll see you in the next segment.
Hi guys, welcome back to BullCast. I'm your host Vanessa, and today I am here with Jeffrey and our executive producer, Kelah.
Hello.
And today we are going to be asking Kelah some questions, as Kelah is our graduating senior. And we're going to ask her about her college journey and a little bit about BullCast next semester. So Kelah, going off of that, tell us about your college journey and how it started.
Well, I started in the fall of 2020. So that was basically during the shutdown, you know, when everything was coming back up. And, you know, all the classes were online. So, and I had a great experience. You know, I was so excited to learn, to explore new things. And I had been out of school for 2.5 years. So it was definitely a big change for me. So yeah, that's pretty much how I started. It wasn't until I think the fall of 2021 I was able to come back on campus more. So yeah.
That's awesome. And how do you think, you know, since then coming to USF, how has that transition been?
Oh man, I think it's been a little tough because I went to SBC, and it was very different than a university. I think I would just go to class, do my assignments, and go home. And then in the beginning of this semester, well, not this semester, but, you know, USF, it's been pretty tough, I would say. But I got through it. I had good grades, you know, so yeah.
And what do you think your most memorable experience in college, whether that's SPC or USF, has been? But specifically, let's stick with USF.
I would say I really enjoyed the BullCast. It started last semester. Autumn, our executive producer, was the one who ran it, and I was the social media manager. So just kind of, you know, joining in on something. I never saw myself being on camera at all. You know, my mom would say, hey, you should do broadcast. Like, I was in theater growing up, and I was like, oh no, I would never do that. And well, here I am. But just, I think this semester alone has been the most memorable journey of my college career, and one of the best. I think it started off with a bang, to be honest, when we had a manatee be rescued out in the water, and you know, Chris and I, we were out there, and I'm interning with him, so he just kind of showed me how to, you know, take photos and videos and different angles, and I was like right behind the camera people from Fox 13 and ABC Action News. So, oh my gosh, it was like, wow, this is like my journey of a journalist and a videographer, and then it got published, and so I was like, wow, this is amazing. I can do this. I can go forward. I can, you know, I'm worth something, you know. So that's how it started, and I think that's been the most memorable experience, and being a part of BullCast and running it and working alongside Jenna, I mean, just has been amazing.
That's awesome. You almost knew you were meant to be in front of a camera,
Yes.
It sounds like.
I remember growing up, I wanted to be an actress, and I was always in the plays, you know, I was in theater. I didn't have like the big roles. I had a few, but mainly I was kind of just, you know, there. But, you know, I just enjoyed it.
That's awesome.
And speaking about these experiences, would you say you're a different person you are now than you were when you first started USF?
Absolutely. When I first started USF, I was this shy little kid. I mean, I wouldn't say little. I mean, I'm almost 30. But I feel like I've grown so much in the past 2 years, and just been more confident in myself. And I'm so grateful that I went back to school, because it's been a journey. I was always the person in and out of college. And now I finally know what I want to do with my life. And it wasn't until this semester, getting into BullCast, getting into the videography and the photography and the journalism, it really took off. So that's where I'm kind of exceeding in.
Yeah, I can see your confidence like every single day,
Yeah.
especially when we do, you know, these segments. You give everybody the confidence, and it's really appreciated, because you know, we're all scared, we're all, you know, anxious and stuff, and with your help and Jenna's help, it's been really amazing. And speaking about Jenna, like, how did you two connect? How did you two decide to be producers for the BullCast?
Well, last semester it was more of, hey, Chris, do you need a intern? And that's how it started. And then Jenna was like, hey, can I intern too? So we knew of each other, but we didn't really know each other until this semester. So we really got to connect more. And ever since then, we just had, deeper connection, and just, we have our ideas, we plan it out. If we can't sit together, well, hey, I did an outline, can you look at it? And we'll text each other or call each other. So that's pretty much how it's been, and it's been great.
Yeah, you two both have great chemistry.
Thank you, yes.
Yeah.
You made an amazing team.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you're going
yes.
to be missed so much,
You
the
both.
both of you.
I'm going to miss you guys. I really am. I mean, I would say I think you guys have great chemistry as well, and you work very well together. And I think my advice for you guys would just be get all your ideas down and have it planned. And, I know it's been a little struggle with it, kind of, we have 2 weeks of planning, and then, we get the episode and then stuff like that. But I mean, you guys are going to do amazing. I'm so excited to see what comes next. I mean, what I would love to see is more music, more artsy. Yeah. I think this season it was more about definitely bringing more people on and getting more connections. But I definitely see this exceeding, and being way more successful than it was originally thought of.
That's amazing. That was really nice. That was really nice. And I think you dropped a little news that we didn't tell anybody yet. But actually, myself and Jeffrey are going to be the producers next season, the executive producers of BullCast. So we definitely hope to bring those things to screen for you. Yeah. And now that you're leaving, let's talk about your post-grad really quick. Have you started your journey, and do you have any tips for anyone else starting that journey as well? I
have started. It's been a difficult journey because I have so many ideas and so many wants of where I want to go. I'm really just more open now before I used to be. I do have an interview coming up, so I'm super excited about that. I don't want to give any spoilers because I don't want to, ruin it. But I have been looking, I have been open, and really just kind of reflecting, because 2 years ago I wasn't super open. I was very shy and kept to myself. And it took the BullCast and 2 professors to be my mentors to really get myself out there. Yeah. And I really wish, that's my advice for, new students, is get out there, get experience. Like the first semester that you're here, get experience, and then later on in your journey here at USF, go out and find real experience. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, we would love to have you next semester, see how, you've been up to.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Well, I hope to see you back next semester, at least once or twice. But thank you so much for sitting to chat with us. You've really paved the way for us next semester, and we really will miss you.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
And we're going to send it off to the next segment.
Yeah.
Wow, their just dedication to the BullCast is phenomenal.
So starting the BullCast with Kelah and Jenna this semester kind of gave me an opportunity to make friends and kind of expand the skills that I wanted for my career.
Jenna and Kelah are the most hardworking people I've ever met in my entire life. Since meeting them, they have inspired me to kind of keep busy, but also like prioritize mental health and like make sure that everything you're doing is for you.
They made me feel part of the BullCast. They made me feel like confident and to do new things, and they're also very professional at what they do. They're very inviting.
They're both just so encouraging, and I see them as like really good friends, like best friends. Even though we've only known each other for 2 semesters now, I know I can count on them.
Kelah and Jenna have impacted me to really make me put myself out there more, to to just be more confident in what I do.
Is just being understanding and flexible with the schedule.
And have allowed me to be more communicative with the crew.
It's really inspiring. Their dedication and their hard work and the amount of effort and time and professionalism they put into it is really incredible.
Making me get out of my comfort zone. I really appreciate that from them.
Being able to lead a whole webcast is extremely impressive, and I commend them.
I'm so proud of you guys. I know you're gonna do amazing things out there.
Thank you so much for all the opportunities that you've given everyone and for me.
I will severely miss you guys.
I wish you nothing but the best, and I hope they find great opportunities.
You have really paved the way for Jeff and I to kind of step up and just do amazing. I don't think we can top it, but we'll see.
I hope you have good luck with everything that you do, and I know that you'll be great and accomplish great things.
Both of you are incredibly talented and incredibly hardworking. You guys will be phenomenal with whatever job you end up doing.
I love you both. Thank you.
Peace and love for all your future endeavors, and yeah.
I hope that we remain friends until we're like 100 years old.
Thank you everyone for tuning in to episode 8 of the BullCast. I thought today was pretty cool, wouldn't you say?
I definitely have to agree with you, Nathan.
Yes, yes. And for any prospective students who want to get involved in the BullCast in the future, please check out the links in the description below.
And also, check out our socials in the description below. You never know what content we're going to be dropping in the summer.
And last but not least,
Go Bulls!